Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so happy that you are here, and I am so happy to be here today. Today's video is going to be very fun. We are going to be talking about all of the books that I read in the month of March. Now, I know this is a bit late, but I am here, and I'm going to talk about these books because I had such an amazing March reading month that honestly put me into a little bit of a slump in April, which is why this video is a little bit late. But honestly, the books that I read in March just filled my cup up so much and just were so joyful and amazing, and I cannot wait to just yap with you. And I was waiting for a time to film that I felt that I was like ready to scream out these books in a positive way and not like being dragged down by my reading slump. So that is what I'm here to do today. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And without further ado, let's hop into the books that I read in March. The first book that I read in the month of March was First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Now, I feel like this book has been absolutely everywhere. And if there's one thing about me, I'm going to hop on the bandwagon and I'm going to read a very hyped and beautiful book. And this was exactly that. This was between Aiden and Lucy. Lucy is a single mom and a mechanic who isn't quite searching for love, but would like it in her life if it stumbled upon her and fit all of her criteria. Aiden is a radio show host, and he is becoming a bit of a cynic as the people who are calling in to his love radio show are just complaining, and it's lost that kind of spark and magic. The two accidentally meet over the phone when Lucy's daughter calls Aiden's radio show. Seattle falls in love with it, and Lucy is brought on as a guest to Aiden's radio show. There's some forced proximity there, and honestly, this was such a fun story. It really felt like an early 2000s rom-com in some of these moments, and the grand gesture was brought back in this book. It was honestly just such a fun time. I loved the unique family dynamic with Lucy, her baby dad, who's also her friend, and her daughter. And Aiden was such an interesting character to read about, with him being kind of a cynic, but also like falling for Lucy. It was such a cute book, and I could not recommend it enough. I gave it 4 stars. The next book is one that I am so excited to talk to you guys about because it's an advanced reader copy that I got. It is Scotch on the Rocks. This is the second book in the interconnected standalone series of the Maccabee brothers, and the first book is Whiskey Business. Now, Scotch on the Rocks was so God, I honestly, when I got an advanced reader copy of this book, I screamed, I squealed, and I did that all the way throughout this book. Now, this book has a dynamic that I don't normally go for. It's like enemies to lovers, but they're very like kind of like chippy with each other, which normally doesn't work for me very well. However, this book, I enjoyed it a lot. This book is about Callum and Juniper. Callum is our Maccabee brother. He is a vet. He is in a tricky situation because he really likes his brother's ex-fiance, Juniper. She's kind of a black cat, and she's trying to keep her life together. She's running a small town inn that she wants to update, but her mom is kind of stopping her from this. Her mom goes away. She's dealing with the renovation. She has this annoying Maccabee brother. It's a lot of fun. The banter in this book is absolutely impeccable. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of times that I squealed, that I was sat there, that I had a smirk on my face because it was so fantastic. The spice in this book was also hot, and you understand why there's a waterfall on the book cover. I will just leave it at that. I ended up giving this book a 4.25 stars because it was just a blast to read. From the first page, this double prologue was impeccable, and then to the last page, the tension was high, the drama was there, and like, I understand why the drama was there, but also was a little much on the drama for me. But I'm just sometimes wanting everyone to be happy, and when there's drama, I'm like, please just be together. But that's me, and I know that about myself, so don't take that away from this amazing book. The banter, the comments, the mouth on this man, I cannot say enough great things about this book. All I need to say is that you need to read it. I don't think anyone is surprised that the next book I'm going to talk to you guys about is a Catherine Cowles novel. This is the second book in her Tattered and Torn series, and it was so good. I ended up giving this book 4 stars, and it is between Calder and Hadley. Hadley is the sister of the love interest in the first book, and Calder is the love interest in the first book's best friend. So it is a best friend's brother romance. It is a little bit of an age gap, and it's also kind of a second chance to an extent because they were childhood friends who grew apart and are now back together. Calder is a firefighter and Hadley is a EMT first responder, and the dynamic between these two is very fun. But what I loved most about this book was the family dynamic. This family is one that is not happy-go-lucky. They do have a lot of challenges, and Hadley in particular deals with a lot of struggles with the relationship with her mom, and it was just so interesting to read about. And I really enjoyed how this story played out because all of Catherine's other books have very happy and jovial family dynamics, so to have something a little bit different was a lot of fun. The relationship that Hadley also has with Calder's daughters was so cute. I love a single parent because I also love how the love interests interact with their kids, and it was just such a wholesome and sweet story. There were some full circle moments in this book. Drama was high, and I just was on the edge of my seat in some moments in this book. It was so good. I then did a reread of a book that is almost becoming a comfort read, which is kind of scary, but it is Lights Out by Navessa Allen. Now this book is one I have talked about so many times on my channel because the audio just has me obsessed. I'll talk about it very briefly. This book is between Allie and Josh. Allie is a nurse who occasionally likes to watch spicy TikTok videos, and Josh creates those spicy TikTok videos. The two interact online. Josh gets a little bit obsessed and starts kind of stalking Allie in like a very demure way, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, I don't know if it can be demure, but it like is. It's so funny too. Like, you're gonna be cackling, and like when you say, Ellie, why am I gonna be cackling about this? Like, it's so well done, and the audiobook narrators just bring it to life so well. It also has a very fun cat named Fred, who I love to see throughout the book and is always there, and it's just the cutest thing ever. I know I'm going very fast with this book, but I've actually talked about it like at least 6 times, and this is a third reread, which is honestly a bit of a problem, but it's fine. I'm just preparing for the next book that's going to release this summer, okay? It's not my fault. I then read another Catherine Cowles, and I read Echoes of You. This was my final book to complete in the Lost and Found series by her because I read them all out of order. And honestly, this book I gave 4 stars, but it was more of a low 4 stars and like a 4-star because I love the family and I was sad to say goodbye to them, so I gave it a 4-star. It was a little bit lower on the scale for me of enjoyment of a Catherine Cowles, but I still had a wonderful time with this book. This book is between Nash and Maddie. Maddie and Nash are childhood best friends, and Nash has always been a safe place for Maddie to land as Maddie's home life has not been good. Her father is abusive and her mother is neglectful, and it is just a very messy home life situation for Maddie, and Nash opens his home up to her. She becomes one with the Hartley family, and unfortunately something does happen and she ends up moving away. She is now back in town, and they are trying to figure out this new dynamic as being best friends and now potentially wanting something more, and it is such a sweet story. I love Nash as a side character, and I feel like I love him a bit more as a side character than a main character, but I also still really enjoyed the story. I loved the little moments of seeing my Hartley family again because they are just such a sweet group, and also to see some of the couples before they got together was a fun dynamic after knowing who's going to go with who and what's going to happen with what. Normally I'm not a friends to lovers girl, but Catherine always gets me with her prologues and makes me become so attached to the characters, and that's exactly what she did in this book. The next book that I ended up reading was Whistleblower, and I gave this 3.5 stars. It was a very interesting concept, but it did drag and rush in some places. This book is about Link and Eden. Link works for a company called Paladin, which is actually a bunch of assassins, and Eden gets hired when that company Paladin merges with the FBI. Eden is the equivalent of HR. She is hired to make sure everyone is getting along and also to figure out how to bond the FBI with this assassins group Paladin, and she ends up falling for one of the assassins. It's a really fun dynamic because you have like this danger of Eden, but you also have this like really almost wholesome relationship because it's Link's first relationship ever. Obviously with his career path, you can't really form very many tight connections because they would be in danger, and so watching him fall in love and like learn how to be in a relationship almost was a very sweet and fun dynamic and like situation to read about. I will say I did want more suspense. It did feel like a little bit rushed, and like the suspense was like very light until the very end, so I would have loved a lot more of the romantic suspense aspect, but the exploration of relationship dynamics was a lot of fun. Learning more about Link's history was a lot of fun, and also the other assassins in this story were a lot of like found family and like really took Eden in. Eden is also a very gentle and very non-violent person, so to have like Link respect her boundaries and also like go out of his way to make her comfortable, and also for Eden to find strength in her like softness, was also a really cool dynamic that I liked in this book. So overall it was a very nice story, but the pacing was a bit off for me in this book. I then jumped over to some fantasy and I read Rebel Witch, which is the highly anticipated sequel to The Crimson Moth, or also known as The Heartless Hunter. Now I won't get into what this book is about because obviously it is the second book in a duology, but I will say I gave this book 3.5 stars. It didn't get me as much as the first book did, and I will say that it felt very predictable to me in a sense that I was really upset about because I called every single major plot point that was going to happen. I was like, oh, I think this is going to happen, and then it did, and that was really frustrating for me. But like maybe I was just feeling particularly big brained, like maybe I just like was locked in and on like the same wavelength as the author, and like maybe you won't have that experience. But for me it was a bit of a disappointing read because I didn't love it as much as I loved the first one, and anything that was supposed to wow me or woo me off my feet I had already predicted. which was kind of unfortunate. But I still think that it is a very worthwhile story. Like, I still think it's one of the best duologies that I've read. I've not read very many, and I'm not a huge YA fantasy girly, but I still really enjoyed the story as a whole. However, this one did just miss slightly for me. We then have another Catherine Cowles. It is Beautiful Exile, and this book was a lot of fun for me to read because it was my first Catherine Cowles book where I had everyone else excited with me for the release of it, because I've been catching up on her backlog, and obviously when All the Missing Pieces came out, I was like not really like anticipating it because I just read it on release day on like a whim because I saw someone talk about it. So I didn't have that anticipation, that camaraderie of the social media community being excited for this book. So I really enjoyed that experience. This book is between Link and Arden. It is the 4th book in the Sparrow Falls series. They are all interconnected standalones, but I do recommend that you would read them in order. However, I don't really love the first two, so you know, do with that information what you will. I gave this book 3.5 stars because ultimately it wasn't my favorite, but there were also moments that I really, really loved. And so that is kind of where I'm at with this book. I was also entering a reading slump when I started it, but I think my biggest issue with this book was that it was very insta-love and it was very immediate once things happened, and I needed more build up, I needed more yearning, and that's where it kind of lost me. But then there were also some really beautiful moments in this book, so I struggle, but I think I landed on a 3.5. It was just kind of middle of the road with like a little bit extra. So this book is about Link. He is a billionaire, he is a businessman, he is the owner of the hockey team that Cope, the love interest in the 3rd book, plays for. He's moving to Sparrow Falls to build a vacation home and kind of escape the city. He could stay in a hotel, but instead Cope offers his home because he is going to be away in Seattle playing for the hockey team and prepping for the season. Link ends up moving in to Cope's house, which Arden, Cope's sister, also lives in, the guest house for that. So it is forced proximity. Arden is a very mysterious and feisty FMC. She is an artist. She trains in not kickboxing, but a form of martial arts training. The found family in this series is a lot of fun, especially because not all of the siblings are blood related. They are adopted and they all have their own unique history, and Arden's history was so fascinating to me. Like, honestly, I don't even know how Catherine Cowles comes up with this stuff, because I was engrossed in this prologue and learning about Arden's history, and then when it came back up in modern day, that was amazing. Like, that was so good. Like, the suspense was really suspensing. As I've already said, was that it just was a little too insta-love for me, and it just happened a little too fast, and he was just too obsessed almost, which is like, whoa, what are you even talking about? But like, from moment one, he was like, that is mine, girl. Like, that is mine. That is my girl. I'm obsessed with her. And I was like, I love it, but I also need some more yearning. And so that's why I've lied with this. We then have a new to me author, but one that I'm so excited that I've discovered. This is Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. Now this book, the atmosphere in this story is truly fantastic. This book is between Lainey and Grant. Grant was a police officer who lost his girlfriend in the line of duty and is now a whiskey distiller with his brothers. They are the Bourbon Boys, they are the Fox brothers, and they make the best bourbon in all of Kentucky. Lainey saw something that she shouldn't have, gets put in witness protection program, and taken to Fiasco, Kentucky to live on this bourbon distillery with these men, and oh my gosh, it is so good. The found family, the vibes of this story, it's like gritty, but like not, but like country, but like I don't even know how to describe it. It was truly something magical to read about. Grant immediately does not like Lainey. He is suspicious. His little senses are tingling. He's like, there's something up with this girl. Like, why is she dropped here in the middle of the night? What is going on? She's not with my brother, but why is she staying here? And honestly, the moments in this book were so perfect. There were things that this man did that just blew me away. There was just, it was spicy. It was fun. It was like good, like like, I don't even know, it's like country romance and like almost like a gritty, like, look at the cover. Like, the cover gives the vibes of the book. Like, this is not a Chestnut Springs happy-go-lucky ranch. Like, this is a little bit more grungy, but like in the best way. But it also has a beautiful found family and also beautiful positive moments and like moments between the couple that just had a movie playing in my head. Editing Ellie here. I lost the clip for the next book that I talked about, which was Cross the Line, and I'm so upset about it because I was so proud. I was like, look at me following my TBR with an F1 romance, but here we are. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know that I ended up giving Cross the Line 3 stars. I thought it was cute, but I was more into the F1 drama logistics aspect of it than I was the romance. I'm not a huge friends to lovers situation, and this was like best friends, brothers, sort of friends to lovers, and it was okay. It was fine. There's nothing overtly bad about it. I just like didn't have that super like big connection and like yearning for the story, but I did love the F1 drama. I was here for like the teams, the dynamics, the situations that were going on, because honestly, F1 is so messy. Like, it is messy. I really enjoy that, especially having the off season and like not having any races. Now we're back in races because I did film this video a while ago and I'm just editing it now. But overall, it was a cute story. It was fine. It was all good. but I just loved the F1 drama more than the romance, so 3 stars. The last book that I read in the month of March was actually a wild card pick for me. It was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now, as I said, I'm not really a YA girl. Fantasy romance, the genre of YA is not really for me anymore. However, I did get convinced to read it by one of my good friends, and I also needed a win after my little bit of a disappointment with Rebel Witch, and I was like, you know what, Six of Crows is so raved about, like it has to redeem Rebel Witch for me at this point. And so I read it, and oh my god, like what the actual even heck. I gave it 4 stars, but the amount of information and lore and detail and history and backstory and relationship connections and like intention that Leigh Bardugo put into this book was absolutely astounding. So Six of Crows is a heist story with a bunch of like teenagers. So we have Kaz, Inej, and Jasper as our main group, and then we also have some other like ragtag people that come in with like Nina and Matthias and like all that good stuff. So you're probably recognizing some names, but this group gets charged with a mission to secure a valuable, I don't know how much I want to say about this, but a valuable substance per se, and they have to go on this adventure. And it was just so much, like there was so much, and it's like heartbreaking, but like so warm and cozy also with like the relationships, but also like their characters are so detailed and dynamic, and like you understand exactly why they're doing what because then it's revealed. I truly, like, I probably sound crazy, but I was not expecting all of this. Like I was not expecting the amount of stuff that was packed into this book, the history and everything, which I've yapped about so much. Like I was blown out of the water. Like I don't know how Leigh Bardugo achieved this. I really don't. We have made it to the end of the video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed me just yapping about these books. It wasn't as in detail as normally my wrap-ups are, but I just wanted to yap. I wanted to get back into the swing of filming. And so I hope that you just enjoyed me yapping and the unhinged nature of this video. I had a lot of fun just sitting here and talking to you guys, but I'm so excited for the summer month and for summer book releases and just to like read by the beach, read by the lake, read in the sun. I'm so excited. So let me know down below if you have any book recommendations for me or what your favorite book was that you read in the month of March or even April, because this video is just like a little bit late. But as always, I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And without further ado, I'll see you all later. Bye, everybody.